Hello everybody, this is Gary LeBombard with video number 9 of my 1973 05 Eagle refurbishment and my modifications. Starting out in this video is photos of my engine compartment entrance door and the rust contained in the door framing and hinge area, making this definitely a safety hazard in the near future. The opening above the actual engine compartment door was also open to allow ease of access to do repairs inside this area, and removing of the and for removing of the air inlet tubing, and also the removal of the surge air tank. The surge tank made much easier. In a later video, you will see this area where the new door will be. Will have its own access door, and for the same reasons as above, so that there will be ease of getting into this area and doing things that may be necessary to do. The right side of the engine framing was not nearly as damaged or needing repair as the left side, but I still wanted to double frame this important part of the bus engine framing for my self-confidence. This area is being viewed from my generator compartment after I tore apart the generator compartment for building in the future. Here's a couple pictures of the cleanup and the painting of the front end of my engine transmission. I thought you'd appreciate seeing. Just like everything else, it was totally filthy and everything like that. And this took a lot of time to clean it. But as you can see, the end result, she's going to look good from here on out. Now I'm starting to clean up of the alternator on the left-hand side of the back of the bus area. Now you will get a view of the alternator compartment after cleanup, and then I evaluate of what to do for repairs needed in this area. I just knew disassembly of this area was needed to do a complete rebuild, as you will see in some of the later photos here. Now, as always, this area will get a complete rebuild. Also included are photos of the actual torn out rusted framing in the alternator compartment. It took a lot of time to try to plan out how I was going to do my repairs in the back, where the alternator goes, and the pulleys and everything else like that. And as you can see in these photos coming up, that it got quite intense for me, because I had to tear out all of the framing, and this is the procedure that I used. And just watching the photos, you will see the steps that I had took. This is part of the bus that I cut out that you were just looking at. Repairs done to the alternator compartment are pretty much done by the same procedure as I used in replacement of the battery compartment. So there was no need to fully get into anything here to double view it. Now the front and rear electrical panels are viewed before cleanup. The front view is first, with removal of all the wiring, and the new wiring was done on a workbench using the Eagle drawings, which do not have very clear wiring schematics to work with, especially to someone who never read an electrical schematic before. I had to teach myself what the drawings meant and tried my best to wire the bus as intended. I did eliminate inside lighting and so forth, not needed any longer, and many other options like for the actual air conditioning fuses and circuits. All this took over 4 months to remove and install, along with a broken wrist. Here now you're going to see the engine compartment before cleanup and removal of all the wiring and everything that I did in the back of the bus. And I got very few pictures here, but this is how it looked out when I got it all cleaned out, and I got it prepared for rewiring. And like I said, it took me about 4 months to do all by myself with a broken wrist, and it was quite difficult, but it kept me plugging along and kept me progressed in the right direction to accomplish something. And you can see that it's quite a mess, but it looks quite nice now to me anyway, and I hope it does to you. Here's the engine starting battery storage compartment before cleanup and remodifications. Get a good view of the undercarriage of the battery compartment that was completely removed and refabricated. Take a look at underneath now. Here comes the flooring. That was supporting the batteries that were there originally when I bought the bus. And this is part of the fabrication that I tore out that was originally on the bus. Before starting the rebuilding of my new battery storage compartment, I had to tear out the old. And I did. Just exactly that. I tore out all the framing, as you can see in the pictures here and everything. There was hardly anything to start with. And this took a lot of time again, as I keep talking about and everything like that. But you can see this was a tough job to do. You have to take one step, one area of the bus at a time, and concentrate on that. And here's the process I used to refabricate new decking for my battery compartment. And as you can see here in some of the photos, this is the procedure that I took. The decking is like plated both on the top and on the bottom so that it'll never rust out again, as far as I know. Now I'm fitting my generator exhaust muffler into an area of its own. It's not fully plumbed in these photos, but it's going to go downward and then outward away from the bus, of course. But you're going to see the separation that I have between the battery compartment and the muffler compartment in the upcoming photos. Included in my battery compartment design is the inclusion of my generator exhaust muffler area. This is a wall that will separate the battery compartment from the generator exhaust. This wall will have vents included above the generator exhaust that will allow any fumes from the batteries to escape. The muffler generator will be wrapped with a high temperature insulation to contain heat inside of the muffler and keep down on noise when being used. This muffler will also be enclosed by a removable panel designed to also separate the battery fumes from the muffler compartment. You're going to see now the separation between the battery box and my muffler, and then you're going to see that the muffler is going to also be enclosed, not just insulation around the muffler, but also with a metal enclosure over it so that no fumes should hopefully come anywhere near the muffler area, causing any problems to worry about. A crash type bumper was designed by me, and here's the procedure that I used for making it. The only thing I could think of was the old Flintstone type method, and but it worked for me. This is to protect the battery storage door and everything like that there in case I back into something. What you're going to see now is the procedure that I took to make the new battery compartment door, and I also same almost the same type of procedure when I made the door above it that houses the bus lights and everything. But you can see that everything is all handmade, and the best design I could come up with, and they're following the contour of the bus as close as they could. It came out pretty close to satisfy me, and that's what's important, I guess, is me. You can also see in this photo that there's a shelf now above the battery compartment, and that shelf is intended for safety to stop anything from dropping down inside and on top of the battery. That shelf is removable if I need to. Now you're going to see the final product of my battery compartment, and with a door that I made for it as well. give you an idea how it's done. And you're going to see the wiring that I've done, and the wiring has all been done with 1/0 wiring, and it's all been crimped on with one of these crimpers, these power crimpers. I think it's 30-ton. So I got all the faith in the world that these are going to be safe from here on out. My old wiring was so brittle it broke in my hand. Now you're going to see the muffler in its painted area, but it's not totally enclosed in this photo. Here's the battery compartment itself, all painted up nice, and the underneath of it, all supported safely more than whatever was. I'm going to show you now how I fabricated the right tail light door that's over my battery door, and I'm making it so that it overlaps the baggage door so that the rain will run down right past the baggage door. And of course I had to use the Flintstone method here of doing everything by myself, but it came out fairly decent and I'm happy with it. And now you're going to see me where I fitted the lights and everything into the door to see how it was going to work and everything like that, and how nice it was going to look. And I was completely satisfied with it. And here's a picture with the paint on it, and primer paint on it, I should say. And here with everything stripped out apart again. This is the end of this video number 9. I appreciate that you taking the time to view my video. Have a good day.